Hi, okay, so we're here and welcome to my thoughts. And today's topic, we're gonna discuss, where's my best angle? Just like this, I could talk like this. Okay, so no, that's not comfortable. Let's talk like this. Okay, so today we're gonna just brainstorm and talk to a gentleman that is kind of like a mentor to me. And also I have high respects for this gentleman. He's a bit older than I am. So we're just here just to pick his brain and just to see his thoughts about life and just in general. So let's do this. So the question for today is, or the topic for today is, and before we talk about the topic, welcome to my thoughts, my little podcast, Mr. Harold. Clock it. Hi, Harold. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. How was your day today?
I had a wonderful day. No complaints here.
How are you enjoying the new spring weather and all that?
The weather's been pretty steady so far. I mean, kind of up and down initially. And then it warmed up a little bit, but the pollen is killing me.
Oh, wow. So you have allergic reactions during spring?
I do have some allergies. When I walk outside, the pollen is overbearing sometimes and my eyes water. My nose is stuffed up. But at the end of the day, work goes on.
Wow, that's a great input. All right, well, we would like to welcome you to our show. This is our little podcast for generations to come, just to inspire other people, just to listen and to help anyone out there that needs some type of guidance or some type of input to move forward in life. So today, I decided to come up with a topic, and the question that I have for you is, are you a worker or a builder?
Am I a worker or a builder? If I'm understanding the question correctly, I'd like to say that you have to be a worker in some terms before you become a builder. It's almost like you have to follow before you lead. And in order to lead, you should have a little experience. So when you're working, you're paying attention to your environment, your surroundings, and you're associating yourself with people that particularly motivate you, inspire you to a degree that you want to take what they may have to give, bits and pieces of some of the good attributes that that you may look at them and see, and they don't know that you're actually seeing them, and you utilize what you can in your daily life if it helps. If it doesn't, then you only take bits and pieces of it and you make it work for you if you can, to say the least. So I'd like to say I was a worker when I was younger, and I learned how to become a builder by seeing those around me who were more positive in building in the direction that I liked the most. So in order to expound on that, the building aspect came from being accountable, getting up and going to work, seeing not to see materialistic things, but how they motivate themselves to get up every day despite things may not be in your favor. You may be tired, but you still have to provide for yourself. So understanding and learning how to build, I think, is a somewhat unique skill because some people don't know how to do it.
Okay, so I thank you for answering that. But just to give you a little concept of this show, of what the question that I asked you is about and the way that you're answering it partakes to helping others, Just to give you a little concept. So, a builder, building takes time. It requires patience. It requires belief. It requires consistency without immediate validation. Building requires you to act before the results are visible. So in this concept, I asked, are you a worker or a builder? And so far, you've made me understand that you used to be a worker before you became a builder, which is fair. And you elaborated as to what it took for you to get to becoming a builder. So your answer is you're a builder.
Correct. That is correct. That
Okay.
is correct. Because you have to crawl before you walk. So you can't just come out and say that you're a builder. That life is going to throw so many different curveballs at you, and you're going to have to weather so many storms. So when you are a worker, you're going to take a culmination of all those things, and you're going to learn how to become a builder, because you probably don't want to go back to being a worker. If that makes sense.
That certainly makes sense. And you answered it in a very humble way. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And just to help our audience, the ones that really don't understand what you're saying exact, you said you used to be a worker.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your worker experience, and how did you deal with the challenges of being a worker?
It initially started, humble beginning starts at home. It wasn't the most, I would say, it wasn't the best ingredients of things in the home at times, but, perseverance, I don't know where it came from. It might be part of my genetics. It's just the will in you not to I'll say lose, not to give up, not to stop, ambition, wanting more things in life, innovation, being innovative, creating ways on how to survive by obtaining or finding ways to have different streams of revenue, or build or making different streams of the ability to work and provide for yourself has to be financial, because that's just what it takes nowadays. So all in all, the experience came through family, work, seeing others that didn't want what I want. I didn't have to look far to see where I didn't want to be. Growing up in a household of not potentially, but growing up in a household, you see a lot of negative things. Family members who don't take life seriously or are addicted to certain substances, and you see how it makes them act, behave, or not want, or they can destroy their families because of their selfish ways. So there was a sixth sense in me, I think, that pushed me to say, well, I don't want to be like that. I don't like substance or things that control me, like drugs and or alcohol, because I saw how it tore, how it manipulated the mind, and some people didn't have control over it. There's nothing wrong with drinking or, I think, having a good time. I just see that sometimes it takes people where they don't want to be. Even certain addictions, from food, drugs, sex, alcohol. Some people have there are so many different things that could actually sway you to be or act a certain way. Past experiences, trauma. So all those things, as you grow older and you mature, sometimes you learn how to deal with them, and then sometimes you react a certain way, and or sometimes don't know how to deal with them because you're a little maybe emotional or sensitive about certain things. So you look at certain situations a certain way. I had to learn how to depend on myself as you get older.
Yeah. So in other words, you're saying to trust the process that unfolds over time.
I can say that you have no choice but to trust the process, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then you have to learn how to weather those storms and then figure out how to move on.
Okay, because some people give up. And what you're saying, to my understanding, is basically rain or shine, your determination never changes and you're focused on the prize and you just continuously keep striving until you get the goal achieved.
Yes and no.
Okay.
You have to learn how to manipulate yourself because we're masters of manipulating ourselves to believe what we want to believe. So mind over matter. Sometimes you have to self-loathe, self-talk, self-soothe by yourself and motivate yourself to overcome certain situations, as much as it may hurt or bring up the past. Sometimes that motivation pushes you to overcome and supersede the things that you initially set out to do by being not an underachiever but an overachiever. Try to be, but the part that you said before, you have to be consistent at it. You can't just give up one day. I mean, certain circumstances may throw you back. Sometimes you have to go backwards to go forward. Okay,
so in other words, some people, especially in this generation, 2026, I find that most of my peers or others that are a bit quite younger than me have a trend going on where consistency and discipline is practiced very much well in this generation. But then also it's like they keep being disciplined and keep being consistent and they're still not seeing the results. So with that being said, I don't have all the answers, but to my understanding, I think, or if I may say, consistency and discipline doesn't matter when there is no structure or guidance, if that makes sense.
Yes, and that's, to me, I think is a little bit biased for me to answer that because you don't necessarily have to have I think you were saying something about a mentor or someone, because most oftentimes people can only, if they're in the genre that you're in or going through life, I can only give you examples of what happened to me and see if they're similar in a sense and tell you how I overcame certain things. But for the most part, it may not work for you, the person that I'm talking to. It may not apply to them and they're going to have to go down a different road.
Got it.
They may have to try something different. Life is not fair all the time, and you wonder why certain things happen to people, and it looks good, or it looks like they're successful or achieving. I think that a lot of the times people are chameleons.
Okay.
Some people don't tell the entire truth. They want you to see what they want you to see because they want you to see them in a good light. They want you to see them not struggle or, oh girl, I'm just going to use, oh girl. You know, sometimes people give each other bad information, knowing good and damn well that the information that they gave you don't even apply. So let's just say, let me give you an example. I had friends that got married young and they felt that they missed out on life, so they wanted to act out during their marriages or as they got older. Sometimes you can't go backwards. Not thinking that you missed something. What did you miss? So the choices that you make, you're gonna have to. You have to understand that that's the best that you knew or did with the situation that you're in. Is not necessarily having to have guidance, because most oftentimes guidance is not the correct way to go, because sometimes you have to fail in order to learn.
Got it.
So you can ask or go to somebody for guidance or say that they have the blueprint when they really don't, because it doesn't apply to you. Your path is your way sometimes. But if I can help you to stop, if I can help you not go down or go do some of the things that I may have done by inspiration, hey, this is what happened to me when I did this. You can either listen or don't listen.
Got it.
Guidance doesn't necessarily equate to skipping a step in life. Sometimes it's only information given, and you could listen, but you don't necessarily have to utilize it because it may not apply to you. And most oftentimes, I think that people should utilize their own intuition and go for whatever it is that they're doing.
Not to
but
be
understand,
afraid. Not to be afraid.
And not to be afraid, exactly. And you got to understand that unforeseen is everywhere. It's because when you're stepping into different areas, you don't know. Using yourself for an example, a lot of things may have been scary moving different places, but you figured it out.
Yeah.
You figured it out. And I mean, a lot of the times I think that people who interject in your train of thought, sometimes the intentions mean well, but it doesn't apply.
Got it.
The example I'm giving, I use my parents. I think you heard me say this before. My parents wonder why I stopped working a good job that I had working for the county or the state when I graduated college. Oh, you're gonna have retirement and pension, but I wasn't satisfied. You can retire from this job and extra. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't enough to raise a family if I thought about having one. And ambition, my ambition was bigger than they could understand. And sometimes the easy way out is not the best way out.
So I really appreciate you explaining. So in conclusion, I would like to ask, what advice would you give to the youth or anyone that aspires to become a builder someday?
If I could give any advice, don't let your innovation or the dreams that you have diminish. Sometimes you have to put them on hold because of certain situations, but I think that blessings are in the eye of the beholder. Even if it takes you 10, 15 years and you're still working at something, that means that I think that you're dedicated to it. It's just that the timing may not be right. I'll use myself as an example. 15, 20 years ago, shit, probably longer than that, maybe 30 years ago,
Okay.
I aspired to be my own business person. And I went through so many different, the road that I traveled wasn't, I thought I was on the right path, but I had so many detours that I had to take. Meaning, I knew I wanted to do something, but I went to college. Then after I got out, I thought would be a boring job. It wasn't nowhere near where I wanted to be. Then you look at marriage, having kids, relationships, hanging out with the wrong crowd, going to happy hours, not focusing on what I thought I wanted to do, but everything else getting in the way. I could have been there a long time ago if I was more disciplined.
Okay.
So, you have to throw some discipline in there. And when other people are looking like they're having fun or having kids and married, or looking like they have the perfect life, and what is it, the 9 to 5 with the 2 kids, the dog, and the white picket fence, sometimes it's not what it appears to be.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call yourself a millionaire?
Who?
Would you call yourself a millionaire?
A millionaire?
Yes.
I think that no. Absolutely not. You're painting a target on your back when you tell people shit about your finances. Shit.
Thank you so much
for
this topic, and thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate you, and this was great. I really, really appreciate this conversation, and I've learned so much, and I hope someone out there can learn, or it can help someone out there that needs it.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.